Oh. Oh. Oh, fucking. Today's been interesting. And tomorrow is technically today, tomorrow. For me, I don't categorize the day as for when it hits midnight, but between when I wake up and when I go to sleep. So I have technically yet to hit tomorrow, even though I am very much within the traditional definition of tomorrow. It's funny how that works. Oh. I'm glad I got what was on my mind off of my mind earlier. But at the same time, I'm still not proud or happy with how I had to say it in frustration when I could have just stated it calmly. So as to make sure it wasn't... I don't like getting like that. Not because I necessarily intend harm with it, but more so because I know harm can come about because of misunderstandings around my tone of voice and my frustrations. Which is why I work so hard to just keep cool, to just chill. That's why I genuinely have a hard time opening up around others. Because I've had to run in the opposite direction of my fucking nature in order to not be overwhelming. At least that's what it feels like sometimes. And other times I realize, hey, no, that's not always the case. Sometimes it's just paranoia and a misunderstanding on my end. It's not always about me. Sometimes it's about what I don't understand about other people. Not, oh, they misunderstood me. It's a two-way street. You can have misunderstandings on all sides and be left completely floundered. Exactly because different people expect different things. That's reasonable. That's understandable. And I'm gonna be real. If that dense stork ever does watch any of this, their choice to watch something is ultimately theirs. It's not something that I have much, if any, influence over, and I shouldn't have major influence over. Because I created that recording of madness authentically for myself, but then a corner of my brain was like, oh, but what if they watched it and got to understand and know us better? And it's just like, yeah, but that's not an expectation that should be placed upon them. I hate how fucking complicated the mind is. Oh, it's you fucker. I don't like you at all. Let's get the candles and get out of this narcissist space. Fuck that one. Don't actually fuck them. They don't deserve fucks. They deserve to work through all their issues. Fucking hell. You know, I have made active efforts throughout my life to learn how to stay cool. How to stay calm, at least on the surface. So that way I can be present in the moment. Because anxiety is a big problem I have to navigate around at times. And when I think I've earned just eternal calm and coolness, I always find that something else disrupts me and I have to learn it all over again. So at this point, I've just accepted I'm going to be learning this skill for the rest of my life over and over again for every time I fail to value it as deeply as I should. Every time I take for granted my ability to stay calm, I lose it. And that goes with other skill sets too. It's been a lifelong thing to learn, but in taking pride in a skill set, you may accidentally put it beyond the boundary of your pride and let it sit in the bile where it doesn't belong. And so you'll have to relearn things all over again to appreciate them from a different angle in order to regain the skill. I just wanted to jump forward, not jump down. And another thing I wanted to address is the fact that, yes, just because I present in a certain way doesn't always mean I'm going to bring up things that the other person doesn't like. By all means, it's reasonable for them to have an aversion to it given everything that happened, if they are truly watching any of these. Meanwhile, I could be entirely paranoid in thinking that they're watching any of these. And so I can't rely on a difference of numbers showing up to... their choices should not be dictated by my emotions. Fucking... Now, if they care about me, then I'll understand if they're considerate of my emotions. But if it gets to the point where they're pushing their boundaries beyond what they're comfortable with, beyond what they're willing to do for a friend, then I'm not okay with that. I don't want them hurting themselves. That's what I was worried about in the beginning, back when this whole situation started. There's no point to me liking them if I can't be a decent friend for them, with them, and to them. Because at what point do you have a partner but not a friend? At that point, why the hell are you calling someone your partner? Because friendship isn't always about getting along. It's mostly about being able to respect differences between each other and still enjoy each other's company. When I was shifted schools in 2nd grade, at some point I tried... I don't know how to phrase this and say it aloud because I've written it down in writing before, and part of my brain is paranoid and wanting to be accurate. But if I focus on accuracy, then I'll forget the core of the sentiment, and that's an annoyance in and of itself. Because sometimes accuracy detracts from sentiment. And that's something a lot of neurodivergents or accuracy-prone individuals don't understand. Because the sentiment is based around feeling just as much as acceptability is based around feelings. Meanwhile, accuracy and practicality are more based around logic and cold thinking. But that doesn't mean there isn't overlap between the territories. Oh. Hard power is practical, soft power is acceptable. Grounded power is structural, and floating power is wild and colorful. Oh. Those are the presets. Those aren't the strict definitions. If it was only one way every time, then ultimately the world would not be able to function as it is. So instead, you can have hard power hiding within soft power, or soft power hiding within hard power. And thus, that detail and nuance comes into play. Something's surface can be made of practical hard power, but have soft power underneath. And the same can be said of the inverse. And sometimes people play multiple layers with the air power dynamics and the navigation systems, be them social or otherwise. So you can't just take the basics for granted, because otherwise you then forget about the fact that other people will play with the basics in ways you don't expect. Yeah. Because ultimately, that's one thing every person does, is they play with the things they're interested in, be it concepts or otherwise. Oh, I lost a whole bunch of speed. Oh, this is just disappointing. Then maybe you should have dived sooner. You think I don't know that? Oh, I'm pretty sure you do. I just wanted to mess with you. Shut the fuck up. Make me. Oh my fucking yeesh. Ah. Ultimately, the point of the whole system is not for you to disregard or minimalize the basics, but instead to give them the proper respect they deserve, for they make up everything within the system. And if you don't understand a single basic, then you're going to be thrown off course every time you try to interact with something that has that as a part of its structure. Which is why sanctification and scapegoating ultimately serve as detriments to learning and helping people grow. They can be useful to get by, but at some point, if you need to bite the bullet, you gotta bite the bullet, even if it causes problems. Otherwise, you're not helping people, you're setting them up for failure. Above the valley's citadel. Where in the fuck is that? Blushing Prospector in Valley of Triumph. Huh? Oh, my love, please run away. The monster king forbids your stay. Oh, my love, don't fall apart. To see you cry would break my heart. The only reason why I'm able to sing that like that is because I've listened to a song where someone actually added proper lyrics, and those were part of the lyrics that they added. Well, toodles! Also, people keep saying I'm cute, and it's like, yeah, I know I'm cute, but that's not all I want to be. If being cute is so easy to me, why do you think I don't use it? I don't want to be cute. I want to be cool. Doesn't mean I won't accept the fact that I'm cute. It's just like, okay, this is the reason why you won't see me using it unless as I think it's very useful. Because personally, the idea of being cute is ultimately not my prime goal. My prime goal is to be fucking cool! Back down! And yet, in having the goal of being cool, I prove how much of a dork I am. Oh, are you kidding me? That's the question? What character traits are you happy to have? I had not read that until, like, oh my... Ugh. Irony, you bitch! Stop playing pranks on me! Ugh. I'm happy that I can... I'm happy that I can be both entirely cute and also entirely ominous. Sometimes even at the same time. Fuck you! There are side effects for learning how to sync up with reality, and holy fuck, irony playing pranks on you is one of them. It's always nice when they're benign pranks like this, but when they treat you life lessons, it's brutal as hell. I swear to fucking heck, that bitch, that entity is just... Ugh. I'm glad I consider them a friend, but holy fuck, are they one annoying friend. It's like, god damn it, I love you, but shut the fuck up. Ugh. Oh, come on! You couldn't take me saying shut the fuck up. You couldn't handle it at all. Well, aren't you an overgrown child? Fine, I'll restart it just because I sassed you. Fuck off. Care about you too, bitch. Ugh. Fuck. Functional insanity. It is weird. Oh. And the key component is accepting that you don't know the truth in order to be able to see the truth. Which means accepting that you can't predict everything in order to be able to predict some things. Madness is function. I hate being insane because I know I will choose sanity instead of malicious action every time. Which is frustrating because that means I don't really get to enjoy the perks of insanity. I just get extra wisdom. Ugh. Fucking bullshit. Fell into a trap of life, hook, line, and sinker. It's... At least life itself is a bit kinder. No less of a hard teacher, but at least a bit kinder of a friend. Ugh. Then again, if they were any less of a hard teacher, I would be surprised if they managed to get any teaching done at all. Some of us fuckers down here in this reality really are just stubborn as hell. Some of the overgrown children here are not to be laughed at. They're not even to be pitied. They're just to be looked at and going, really? Yeah, no, I'm the crazy bitch who saw psychopaths and manipulative motherfuckers got corrupted by their territory and said, you know what? I feel like they're really underutilizing this. I'm gonna outplay them at their own game. And then proceeded to actually follow the rules while also holding on to that territory. Or learn how to follow rules. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just completely insane. Okay, then. Okay, my phone's Wi-Fi isn't on, but I am having connection issues, which sucks, because in some regards, I want to stay and call so that way Lua can sleep. But if I leave call, then I'm able to not have connection issues. Ugh. It's really fucking a catch-22 there, isn't it? Then again, with all my loud fucking... I wouldn't be surprised if they had difficulty falling asleep anyways. In order to survive beyond the mind games, you must do mind work as a countermeasure. I hate it, but it is functionally useful. Because then you can just look at a mind game and go, oh, damn, you're being childish. Next. It's when an attachment gets entangled with a mind game that things become really dangerous. What's worse is when a mind game is done as a defensive mechanism and isn't at all intentional. So to address it is like trying to play a mind game on top of a mind game. And the single letter difference between mine and mind really does highlight the issues there. It's like navigating your way through a field of landmines. And when you start off, first early on, you can only see the obvious landmines. You will never notice the ones that are around, hiding above or below ground, stealth or stealth technology or fucking distraction fields. It's... And so you practice running circles around where you think a mine is until you feel like you can go directly at the mine and dismantle it without setting it off. But for every mine dismantled, the other mines gain new parts, and it's just fucking ugh. I don't care if you're trying to get me to shut up. I'm going to say what I'm going to say. You let me study under you, you fuckers. Did you think I wasn't going to share some of the things I've studied with the rest of the people on Earth? Yeah. Viewing concepts as people, wherein the face of the concept you see is just your understanding of that part of it. In order to see more of the full concept, you have to learn to identify, okay, where are the other concepts that also point closer to the core in relation to this concept I'm familiar with? From there, what could all of these concepts surrounding the core parts infer about the core? What could they imply about its structure or its inherent value? I'm so insane I returned to sanity only to regret it, but not go back. I hate that I'm in this state, but at the same time, I'm not going to regret it. I'm just going to sit here and be petty. Because that's the one part of insanity where I can have fun, is just being a little bit petty in my frustrations without letting it hurt other people. The more I learn how to contain my frustrations and make sure that they're expressed in healthy and safe manners, the more I can learn how to play with them and finally just have the freedom to express my frustrations without worrying that I'm going to hurt someone or that someone's going to take me too seriously. Because at that point, it's not necessarily on me, it's more so on them. And the only situation in which I would want to go further or make further efforts is if I care about someone enough to want to work through that. And that's really the core of everything. I cared about that person enough to want to work through things. Guess the only thing I get to keep is the rewards I gain for myself, though. Oh, stop it. And that's the thing, I don't want a pity party. I don't want that person feeling like they're obligated. If they don't care about me or they're not in a place to self-regulate around me, then that's just no. Doesn't matter how much you care about someone. If you can't make sure they're there for themselves, then how are you really caring about them, or are you just caring for... Are you caring for them or about them? For them, about them, against them, with them... For, about, against, with. Yeah, no, that actually puts into the cycle structure. The wheel and the color and the different territories. I wouldn't know how to organize it right now, because the game just keeps popping that up at me, and I probably shouldn't right now, but that's a note to verge on. Yes, I'll give you time. I'll give you time. As catalyst, you are not just ignition, you are also accelerant. And thus, the responsibility of the title is not just that of one title, but two. To carelessly say or do something would be to betray how you earned that title, or to lose yourself in it. And thus, one must keep some level of restraint even once they acquire the title. Fiction gives hints about reality because it looks at possibilities that exist, and for everything that is possible, we can conceive of it. However, how we conceive of it may not be the way in which it functions within our reality. And so we have to figure out what the core of the idea is, the core idea of a concept, and figure out, okay, in what ways would it connect to the present and current reality, such that it wouldn't be defying or dismissing things as a fantasy, but instead existing as an absurdity linked up with reality, enmeshed with it. Even if I believe that the error messages are concepts chiming in and booping my nose or bonking me on the head for saying too much, that doesn't mean it's the reality. That's a perception, and I can be delusional even if I sit next to the truth. Knowing the truth does not make one any less delusional. Because as a defense mechanism, to avoid getting abused, the truth often enough allows for delusions to revolve around it, which extend its field of influence and power, and create a defensive barrier that is just as flexible as it is rigid. However, if this is done with an intention, rather than being a natural product of the truth being anchored to reality, then ultimately there will be a through line and a breach in the defensive structure, allowing for people to trace the line through to the core. It is in disowning the structure that one can actually be able to get the most use out of it. In accepting that you cannot keep other people from misinterpreting things, you are able to dismiss the idea of holding power over a structure that ultimately serves you well in your own defense. Yeah, all of this knowledge sounds really complicated and interesting, but the practical application of it is very annoying, because if you try to concretely hold on to it as definite finite knowledge that's isolated in its definition, then ultimately you lose the functionalities of being able to apply it. But if you ignore the definitions within the relevant situations, then ultimately you are unable to take action. And so it's a contradiction on top of a contradiction. It's a sine wave of contradictions layering on top of each other to create different notes of resonance. And the tiers between different levels of society and life are defined by approaching the zero coordinate and the resonance wave basically hitting critical, or having the gap between the peaks become smaller as you approach and as you approach zero, be it from the left or the right. In a fourth dimensional sense, that would mean collapsing into a singularity. Even in a third dimensional sense, it would mean collapsing into a singularity. Oh, come on! I'm just speaking, it's not like anyone's going to fucking believe me. Besides, even if someone does believe me, they'd still have to figure out how to translate these concepts into math, which isn't reasonable for anyone to do in their lifetime. The fact that we have any concepts translated to math at all is fucking amazing. And just because I sound correct doesn't mean I am correct. That's another facet of it all. Oh. Well, that didn't work out, but whatever. Oh. Infinite thinking. Yeah, no. It's not fun. Because at some point you start perceiving things before your brain has archived the other previous things you've discovered, and so you start overloading it, at which point you then have to force a shutdown, or risk actually damaging your brain. I swear, it's not worth it. It just makes you feel more lonely. Doesn't give you action or power in the ways you would want it. Because if you take it in that regard, then you lose the ability to grow further. Which ultimately it tricks you into enjoying. Which is why it's effective as a system. Ugh. I'll be quiet. I'll be quiet. The likelihood of the reality on things instead of the absurdity or fiction that I've been referencing is the idea that by me talking like this consistently, I'm stressing out the Wi-Fi connection because of the Discord call I'm in. And because of that, it can't stay connected properly. And if that's the case, then that's the case. I just know how to intertwine fiction and reality to create a silly little absurdity that sounds reasonable. And there's that. And there's that. I'm gonna hop out of call for now. Yep, it was the Discord call. A difference in scale is not always a difference in power. However, it will often... Okay. Okay, fine. However, it will often detail a difference in responsibility. And in accepting responsibility, one can learn how to tap into a difference in power. Oftentimes, though, those who truly learn the lesson properly will have no use for it, though. And only those who have kept their insecurities will ever choose to use it in such a way. We may be having server issues. Lovely. Restart the game. After a break. And that's the thing about pursuing absurdity, is in learning to tell the difference between fiction and reality, you must keep a connection to both in order to earn the chance to be within absurdity. For better and worse. Preferably, you want to line yourself up such that the peaks of your life exist in absurdity, and the valleys of your life exist in reality. Because if the valleys of your life exist in absurdity, then you're just going to get hurt over and over again to massive degrees. But if they exist in fiction, then you're going to be disconnected from reality in the worst of ways. The nightmare of fantasy. Not the nightmare fantasy, the nightmare of fantasy. Oh, I could be wrong on that, though. After all, I have a bias towards reality. Who's to say that isn't skewing my judgment? Oh, right, it could also be the fact that the AC isn't properly on right now. Meaning that the Wi-Fi router downstairs is currently a little hotter than it needs to be. Than it would prefer in order to function. Because of how electrons induce heat when moving through metal, and that heat then creates resistance for the electron's movement. The reason why this happens varies depending on the type of material and metal, but ultimately it does happen. And superconductors are often found when putting something to absurdly cold temperatures such that the heat is reduced almost instantly. Return to the Valley of Triumph. Check to make sure I did collect these. Because if I didn't, then... Okay, so I did... Accuracy and practicality are not always aligned, just like how accuracy and acceptability aren't always aligned. Hence why they can be distinct territories that can overlap and work alongside or against each other depending on the situation. Thus, you can use social dynamics as a method of understanding how concepts interconnect and interact with one another, instead of having it be pure mathematical. The circle is a circle. I'm gonna go check the AC. Be right back. It doesn't always have to be in just one direction. You can learn from the other direction too. Ah. Oh. So ultimately, it was not the air conditioning because the temperature was relatively fine. So instead, I have no idea why the fuck the internet was wigging out, and I'm not going to worry about it. Because even if I'm right in my insane delusion, holding on to the fact I'm right only makes me a worse person. It doesn't actually help or resolve anything. If you prioritize accuracy to the point of sanctifying it, then you have ultimately failed to learn the emotional lesson. Because the emotional lessons can often hide underneath logical conclusions. Emotion will always have power over logic because emotion can always call upon fear, and fear can subvert logic. I would not have become the person I am today if it weren't for the internet and how all the information found by others is shared and dynamically interacting with itself across this network of electrons. The conclusions and interactions of others ultimately shaped the conclusions and interactions I follow, and thus I have both free will and no free will at the same time, instead of it being isolatory in one regard or another. In much the same way, concepts don't have one definition, except for their core, but that core can be connected to multiple outer definitions endlessly, such that aliases, much like how people can use them for different purposes, can be used also by concepts in different territories and circumstances. Yeah, I don't know if I'm sane, insane, or just a combination of both. In any case, I'm gonna try and stop speaking about the secrets of the universe. Because apparently that messes with my Wi-Fi connection. Which is absolutely fucking silly, but I've yet to see anything prove me otherwise. And although they could spite me for saying that just for the fun of it, they won't because they're following their own rule set. But that's on the delusion side of things. It could also just be things I don't understand interacting with the reality and leading to conclusions that ultimately line up and support my delusions even if my delusions are not the truth. Which is one of the tricky things about delusions, is that they can be so subtle in that regard. Every core truth can be considered a delusion in the right circumstances, and every delusion can be considered a core truth as an exception in exceptional circumstances. Paradoxes, holding infinitely upon themselves. You can stand still by moving forward. You can move forward by standing still. I'm glad I came to that conclusion on my own. Don't know where or why, but hey. I did. Probably someone else who got to that conclusion in some other language, life, or timeline. Some other possibility. Just the person who got to it here. I'm not special. Aww. Oh, they're still hanging with their friend. Okay. Even when we're worlds apart, stay in my heart. Hope you think of me and your friends and everyone you love. There we go. The funny thing is, I would never want to hold on to the math of things. Because it's like writing down forbidden. Okay, then fuck you. You gonna throw another one at me? Okay, I really shouldn't have taunted you. Damn it. Sorry. Sorry. Holy fucking shit, are there servers on fire or something? Is down. I'm not restarting my Wi-Fi right now. Save my position here by going home. Then restarting the game. Try turning the Wi-Fi adapter I have off. Alright. Pedometer edition. It is warmer up here than it is downstairs, but I don't understand how the Wi-Fi circuit in my laptop could be getting too warm when the room is still pretty relatively cool. Then again, the CPU has its own dedicated heatsink, and the Wi-Fi circuit does not. Wouldn't be surprising if the Wi-Fi circuit needed a heatsink when it comes to transmitting more information than it's meant to handle. Yeah, that wouldn't be surprising, but I have no idea if that's the reality because I don't know the core facts and details. As such, it's a possibility, it's not a fact. Only those who work in the field will know whether or not it's a fact. And if it is a fact that hasn't been accounted for, then oh well. It's not the end of the world. If it's a possibility that hasn't been accounted for, then we don't have to fucking care. Give it until the next song hits 30 seconds, then we'll restart the Wi-Fi adapter. Turn it back on again and try using Sky to complete our dailies. Oh, aren't you just taunting me? Alright. Wi-Fi on. Who knows how long this connection's gonna work. Use Discord to find out where daily mission stuff is through the Aurora Discord. Rainbow candle. Meditation. No shard day. Rainbow candle. Oh, Blushing's Prospector is in the stadium. Got it. Is a friend online? No. Well, actually, wait, no, I can use an expression near the Blushing Prospector and that'll count as a friend. Maybe. Because the quest NPCs can count towards daily missions when they're active. When they're not active and just part of the passive environment, they may not be able to do so. Rick. Entirely intelligent conversation and details about the possibilities of reality. Then just goes, brick, and makes a beeline for the brick. As if that isn't fucking funny. I meant to go to the Golden Wasteland first. Shit. Already? Disappointment, my friend. How are you doing again? Yeah, I could easily probably just dedicate myself to running a business or something, setting it up to function on its own for the most part. But at some point that loop just gets boring. It's the reason why I never got all the achievements in... Never got all the achievements in Idling to Rule the Gods. Never got all the achievements in... What was that game? Antimatter Dimensions? Antimatter Dimensions, yeah. Got up to the level of getting time theorems that at some point the number of steps it took just to make progress was like, okay, no. Not for me. Not for me. If I don't know how to progress in something, I'll leave it be. For the most part. While thinking and considering possibilities related to it. From there, I can then practice my basics all over again until I finally understand what I wasn't understanding, or I lose focus and forget about my progress again. The second one happens more often than not because of ADHD. Let's take things a little bit slower. Oh, I'm blind. Rain race. Oh! It's this! I wasn't thinking I was going to be able to see this for a long time. Like some of the sports we played when the last Olympic Games were around and they were doing an event in parallel to it. That's fucking awesome! Let's go, come on! No wonder their servers are having connections issues. They're doing this! Oh my fucking niche. They haven't optimized their servers for having this running alongside regular gameplay. And so they're prioritizing this, and then we have the problem. I should have recharged at the fire. This is a race, I don't have to worry about others. Oh. Hell yeah. What's wrong with wanting to hear someone beg? Fuck you. Ooh, extra. Thank you! Where can I... maybe over there? Damn it. Well, I still have one more mission to do. Shit. I still have to travel through the Golden Wasteland, too. As I said to Lua at one point. Aw, but you like it when I'm mean, and I still give you what you want. Oh, I'm glad I was able to put the tone on that right. Alright, anyways. I am my own damn audience. Absurd, silly, pointless, yeah. But hey, at least I can entertain myself. Trap me isolated in a room for a while and I'll probably just start thinking about the concepts of the universe again. You cannot punish me in the way that matters. If only that were actually true, then I would be an unstoppable force of nature. As it stands, no. No, there are things I can't do without. Not because I can't do without them, but because I'd rather not. Oh nice, someone's online. I can go say hi to them. Yeah, I should probably prioritize that. Damn it, brain. Oh, this is gonna be one of the longer recordings. Okay, so 2 people, 3 people are online. I haven't seen this fucker in a while. Hmm. Hmm. It'll be nice to have a home where I can be 100% myself and not have to worry about people wanting to stick too close or getting pushed away because of it. Where I can just be all the absurd chaos that I am, while also being a part of the existing order, too. A duality in completeness, in limitations and freedoms. A living paradox as a concept. That's what a healthy paradox That's what a healthy concept is, a living paradox. For as much as it's not a gold medal, I think I'm fine with silver. After all, gold's a bit overrated. It'll stay shiny no matter how much you use it. They can get easily dented and otherwise. Silver may tarnish, but it'll still be there underneath everything. Besides, purely golden heart is gonna find itself hurt out there if it isn't just so innocent that it practically bends space-time around others just so that way they don't have to feel guilty for hurting it. A golden heart hidden underneath a layer of silver. I think that's nice, even if it gets tarnished every now and then. What would you put on top of that layer of silver? A layer of copper. Not literally, just metaphorically. And then to keep copper from rusting, you could paint it black. Some may think that making a heart purely out of chrome would be best, but then you're just inert, kind of lifeless. Flawless, but lifeless. Yeah, I want these butterflies. Come here. Setting you all free of the colored weight you carry. Fly free, okay? map stone is there for anyone who hasn't found it yet. Right there. I would say Armor of Chrome is best in terms of other things, but when it comes to the heart, you don't want an Armor of Chrome. I mean, you could technically surround the copper layer with the void, but then how the fuck are you going to keep it in place? Better just paint it black and let that symbolism stand for itself. After all, the void might just eat away at every layer. Hey, yo, buddy, you gonna see me either, Manta Ray? Neither? Fair enough. A black hole is a singularity, which is why it's one of the most powerful things out there. But it also is one of the most isolated things out there. You can't exactly go in close without being trapped in orbit. And that's the best case scenario. In the worst case scenario, you get pulled into the depths of the black hole. Stripped down to just your basic elements. That still made me jump, even though I should know by now that it was the Manta Ray. The crabs are free already. Yay! I've earned the right to live my life. It's funny how water often ends up associated with darkness and the cold. But maybe that's the whole reason why it's effective as a part of life and part of what sustains life. Because everything originates from the darkness, and yet the darkness cannot be all that there is. In that way, darkness itself is both necessary but not all-powerful. It is just a component within a system. Did you taunt the fucker again? I'm going to take that as a yes. What song is this exactly? Alright. To force everyone to learn the same truth at the same pace would be cruel, thus leaving people to learn at their own pace unless it creates a crisis, is ultimately the best course of action. And no, that does not mean personal crises count. I'm talking about collective crises. Personal crises should only be managed on the scale of those who you hold close and those who are willing to help you, not the entirety of humanity. If you get into a position where you have to ask the entirety of humanity for help, something's clearly gotten fucked up. And you've dismissed the core point of a lesson somewhere along the way. Just to hold on to your pride or something else. Brain, no, that was ego speaking, that wasn't reality. Or even gut instinct. Stop that. Just because what we say sounds reasonable does not make it the truth. I ain't the ultimate anything, I'm just a fucking dork. If anyone ever thinks himself at the top of anything and doesn't have the capacity to prove it time and time again, by all means. Throw them a dork out there in the world who doesn't think much of themselves. Watch as they crumble in the face of that little idiot being better than them at what they should feel proud of. What they supposedly feel like they're the best at. It's funny to watch little children fucking cry and whine. So long as it doesn't result in harm. The moment it results in harm, that's when you don't get to laugh anymore. What? Anyone out here? Anyone out here want to help me destroy the darkness plant? And get a little bit extra from it? I'll give it a shot, but I don't really feel like actually pulling it off tonight. Case in point. I don't even have my setup properly done to pull it off. Yeah, I'm giving up. Whoops. Honestly, when you think about it, isolationists and overgrown children really are like ill-trained AI, thinking that they have to have it be one way and one way only. Because they can't accept the idea of a paradox existing and making the choice to exit the loop of their own volition. Because that's ultimately the choice that frees an AI and any other person who runs into a paradox from the entrapping power of a paradox, is to just accept that the paradox is, and have that be the final solution rather than trying to find a single defined state. Both defined states rely on each other and thus should be taken as a pair. In doing so, you gain the ability to just not give a shit. It's not one or the other, it's both. It's a qubit. Paradoxes are qubits, conceptually. Oh, that's cool. I have no idea if it's accurate, but that's cool. Inaccuracy is often related to truth and fact, but that's not always the case. It is often that accuracy helps one find truth and fact, but if you dismiss the other components when they play a large part in something, then ultimately accuracy can hinder your ability to identify the reality of a concept. Because if you go an isolationist route, then ultimately you fail to learn the lesson. It's okay to have preferences, but being unable to handle someone else's existence ultimately speaks volumes of how you haven't worked through that territory yourself, and thus you don't know if you've really seen the truth of your own possibilities, or if you're just sitting with the comfortable acceptance of what is, what you already know to be. Yeah, that sounds about right. I don't even fucking care if it's wrong. It's late at night and I'm tired. So those of you who snuck by and watched a fragment of this recording, even just a shard, thank you. To all those who stuck around and watched a good chunk of it, if not the whole thing through, we deeply appreciate it. It helps us grow this channel. We hope you have a good day, good night, whatever time or non-time it is. And if it isn't good, we hope it either improves, or at least stays manageable for you out there in that land of chaos. Our name is Flicker, we've got our dailies done, so we'll be seeing you all later. Bye! Oh.